In this video we're going to take a long hard look at the Asics Superblast version 2 and we're going to find out whether Asics have made the king of the running shoe world better or worse.
He asked what could he do for me. I told him that my love is free. Can you touch me?
Hello everybody and welcome to FORDY Runs. My name is Chris Ford and I'm a running coach who likes to review running shoes here on YouTube, and today we have the long awaited review of these, the Asics Superblast 2. So in this video we're going to talk about the changes to the Superblast 2. We're going to tell you what's new and how it compares to version 1. We're going to go through the stats and features. Then I'm going to tell you the things I like and things I don't like about version 2. And then we're going to wrap it all up at the end and I'm going to tell you whether Asics have made any big mistakes with this new version. Okay, so before we get into the rest of the video, I've got a question for you. Have you subscribed to this YouTube channel? If you have not, please consider doing so before you watch the rest of the video. Right, so the Asics Superblast, this channel here, FORDY Runs, has been a big advocate of the Superblast. Now, why is that? Well, for me, as somebody who is routinely marathon training, I have found that the Superblast for me is just that one shoe when I'm marathon training that can do it all. I can go long in it, I can recover in it, I can do a few workouts in it, and my legs just don't feel beaten up. I can do a number of paces with the shoe, and I can do multiple distances with the shoe. This is the one shoe when marathon training that can do it all. And like I said, I've been a big advocate of the shoe on this channel. Now, I've had 3 pairs of Superblast. This is the second version, the other version's in the garage. And as I said, I've used them through the multiple marathon training blocks that I've been doing, and I've not found, hand on heart, a better marathon training shoe than the Superblast number 1. So as we move into Superblast number 2, the question remains, is this still the ultimate running shoe for anybody who's marathon training? Okay, so before we do the stats and features and tell you what is new here, let's do a quick disclaimer. Right, so with the world's longest disclaimer done, let's move on to the stats and features and find out exactly what is new here. Superblast 2 is retailing at £200. We've got a 45mm down to 37mm stack height with an 8mm drop. We've got Flight Firm Turbo Plus now in the shoe. We've got Flight Firm Blast Plus Eco as a dual layer. I'll show you that in just a minute. We've now got Asics grip on the outsole. We've got a brand new one-piece woven mesh upper. The shoe fits true to size. It's 270 grams in my UK 9.5, and I think that's about it. Okay, so first, if you know nothing about the Superblast, we've got 2 layers here, right? Let me actually come right into the camera. You've got here Flight Foam Blast Eco. Okay, this is the bottom layer, which actually stabilizes the ride to a degree. And then here, come on camera, we've got Flight Firm Turbo Plus. Now in the old shoe we had Flight Firm Turbo. This is the Meta Speed Edge and we've got Flight Firm Turbo Plus. So it's the same kind of foam that's in here, they're new racing shoes. So like I said, you've got under here and running all the way around the shoe, the Flight Foam Blast Eco, which is basically what you get in your daily trainers from Asics. Then we've got this big stack of Flight Foam Turbo Plus. Then we've got now this brand new one-piece woven upper. Now here's a comparison between the 2 uppers, all right? Now in terms of comfort and in terms of fit, number 2 is significantly better. If you can see even on version 1, the kind of gathering that I've had on the shoe. Now let's compare the outsoles. So if you look at the outsoles, you'll see that the holes are filled in, and then we've got the Asics grip. The wear and tear on this shoe is actually pretty good. This is probably, I've got no idea in total mileage, but it's done a marathon training block. Actually might have even done 2. But look, if you compare the grip levels, because that is probably one of the biggest complaints of Superblast 1, was that the outsole was not very good in the holes, but they filled the holes in and they've actually improved the outsole tread. So that's good news. You can see here we've got built up sidewalls which remain on the shoe, so that helps in terms of stability because it is quite a wide platform, which is great, so you get that inherent stability. The laces feel like they've been improved, the tongue, the heel and all that, it still feels very similar to what we had on version 1, which is actually a good thing. And actually overall the fit and feel of the shoe feels exactly the same as version 1. So that's pretty much it, to be honest with you. I would say the weight has increased. The previous version was 253 grams, but we're splitting hairs in terms of the weight. But the biggest change I would say, other than the Flight Foam Turbo Plus, and I'll come on to how that feels in just a sec, is the upper and the outsole on the shoe. Okay, so moving on to the ride. Let's say that in terms of ride is like an 8 out of 10. This is about a 9 out of 10. I mean, it's marginal gains, people. But it is noticeably, I don't know, just faster feeling, I would say. You know, I've been running one time 7.5 minute miles in the shoe and it's felt absolutely fine. And that's one of the great things about the Superblast. Like I said, it can literally do multiple paces. I wouldn't, you know, it's not a shoe that goes like really fast for me. But if I want to drop it and I want to put some goal pace in there or a little bit quicker, it can easily soak that up. And that's what I love about the shoe. Again, it can do everything. But yeah, it definitely feels a little bit more sort of, just a little bit more peppy, the Flight Firm Turbo Plus. It's definitely not the same feeling foam as what you get in the Edge or the Paris. It's noticeably, just a little bit more responsive. You don't feel the extra weight or anything like that, so don't worry about that. The comfort remains on point with the shoe. It's amazing how comfortable these shoes are, and I've had no heat spots or anything like that in this shoe. I never have had that issue with the Superblast anyway. Okay, so let's move on to the things I like and the things I don't like with the Superblast 2. Okay, so the things I like. Okay, so the upper, massively improved, and if you struggle with the upper on the other shoe because you thought it was too hot or whatever, this is a massive improvement. It's just a little bit more user-friendly, I would say. Definitely more breathable, and just, the overall fit is being, I wouldn't say massively improved, but it's noticeably better. I like the Turbo Plus introduction. I think that's always good when you're getting the premium foams, you know, the latest foams in these shoes. I love the fit, I love the feel. I just, there's the right amount of foam in this shoe. For anybody who does marathon training and you're putting in longer miles, you know, you're doing 40, 50 mile weeks, this shoe is just amazing in terms of comfort. And the sort of how you feel after it. Your legs don't feel beaten up and your feet don't feel chewed up. That's the great thing about the Superblast. I don't mind the weight. The weight's fine for me. And the ride. The ride is just a killer. It's just absolutely amazing how well the geometry's been put together on this shoe, the width of the shoe with the foams and everything that they put together to create the ride in the shoe. It is unbelievable. Okay, so things I don't like. Firstly, the outsole is still the most questionable point on the shoe. I would say it's been improved, but it's still questionable. And the only other thing is price. £200. I know you're getting a lot of shoe here, right? You are getting a lot of shoe, but I still would like to see this shoe about 150, 175 pounds, but that's not going to happen. But that's probably my only other negative on the shoe. Right, so in terms of a rotation where this would fit in, I would say this is best suited for anybody who's marathon training. So I would have this for all my long runs and, you know, those sort of recovery runs and easy pace, and then moving into sort of target pace on those sort of long runs. It's that shoe that you can put on if you've got to go out, you know what I mean, when you've just got to go out and get miles. This is a shoe, again, that can take that load. I would then slot underneath that something like an up-tempo daily trainer, Rebel 4, Hyperion 2, something like that, SL2 from Adidas, something that would slot underneath that to do some of those workouts. And then I'd have your race day shoe. Now, whether that's the Saucony Endorphin Elite 2 or the Asics Metaspeed Edge or like the Adidas Pro 3, whatever it is, I'd sit that there. So that's the sort of combo that I would work with. I don't necessarily think if you're half marathon training, you need necessarily what you've got here. The Nova Blast 4 can quite comfortably take the load. The other shoes, you could wear some of those super trainers like the Hyperion Max 2, the Boston 12, you know, the Speed 4. They could quite easily do that half marathon training. I have marathon training as well. But I think this is very much suited for anybody who is marathon training. This is the sort of killer shoe in the locker for anybody who is doing those sort of long distance events. This is the shoe to have in your rotation. And look, if you're just a runner who likes to run, you're not training for marathons and you're not doing for this and you're not doing for that, and you just want one shoe that can soak up all the miles, can, you know, make you feel awesome, can do a bit of everything, then it is something to consider. It is expensive at £200 for a shoe that can do all, but it really can do everything. It is inherently stable, so any of you bigger people out there, this may work for you as well, because it's got quite a wide footprint, which I think will work for many. So there's sort of two sort of people that it appeals to, I would say. You're sort of marathon training people like me, and then you're sort of everybody who just wants a one shoe to be able to go and do a bit of everything, but they're not too fussed about having a carbon plate. Because you have to remember, this doesn't have a carbon plate. And again, I think that's another positive of the shoe, that you can use it in marathon training and you don't have a carbon plate in there. So when you do put your plates on, you know, your carbon comes in on race day, whatever, you do notice that as well, which I think is a very, very good thing as well. Okay, so let's try and sum this up. The Superblast 2 remains the king of the running shoe world. They've not done anything with this shoe to spoil it. The additions they've made, I think, have improved the shoe slightly. And I'm struggling to think what else they can improve on the shoe to make it better, because it is close to perfection, this shoe. Could they have just put some new colorways out in Superblast 1 and made it widely available? Well, yeah, but they didn't. They chose to come with version 2. I just hope that they make this easily or readily available for more people, because that was one of the big complaints of the first version. But yeah, so Superblast 2 is on point. It's exactly what you'd expect from the Superblast. They haven't ruined it. They haven't mucked it up. The ride's been improved a little bit, although it was hard to improve. The upper's definitely a big positive for the shoe, and everything that you liked in version 1 is in here, so that's good news. And if you've not tried the Superblast, I would strongly recommend you do. It's a lot of money, but you're getting a lot of shoe for that money. So there we go, people. They're my thoughts on the Superblast 2. It is that shoe for me that will be that staple shoe in my marathon training. And as you know, I'm training for the Berlin and another marathon this year, so I need shoes that can do those longer miles, and that's where the Superblast 2 works for me. So there we go, people. I hope that's useful. Let me know in the comments, have you got the Superblast 2? What do you think of it? What do you feel versus version 1? What colorways would you like? Because I think this colorway is a little bit I'd like to see some really banging colorways from Asics with the Superblast. But yes, people, let me know. I'm very interested, as always, in your thoughts on these shoes. Join me on a Monday at 8 o'clock when I do a live stream where we can talk about that. But apart from that, that's it from me. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. Make sure you subscribe before you leave me today, and I'll catch you later.